Hey, welcome to another video. Today I am going to be trying to make a goggles case based off of some other makeup bag pencil case ideas I've seen online. Me and my partner have been going swimming a bit recently. We both have goggles, but we have nothing to put them in afterwards, and I don't really want them hanging out in the bag while they're still wet and while they could get scratched by other things because I just have like a drawstring bag. I don't have anything fancy. So the goal for today is to try and take some fabric, take a couple zippers, and create a bag to protect these for when I'm finished swimming and for them to be able to dry out, which is why I want to do this in fabric so that it's breathable. I have this like fleece almost lining fabric that I'm going to be using for the inside, and I have this bee fabric, this orange bee fabric, and this zipper that I'm going to be using for my case, and this blue zipper and blue fabric that I'm going to be using for my partner's case. I love bees, so anytime I get to use bee fabric, I'm super excited. We're trying to fit a pair of goggles approximately that big for both of us, so hopefully that goes all right. I also brought out some interfacing, see over there, just in case I decide that I want to make it a bit more rigid. I am not super certain about that yet.
Okay, so I found a pattern that I would like to base this off of on Pinterest, and I'm gonna try and follow some of what they're doing, or at least the formation of the box. So it's just like, this one's just a tiny little pouch, so I'm gonna adjust it to be a bit bigger. And I don't want my zipper coming down the side, so I'm gonna make this piece here taller so that it stops at the corner here instead. So this is what their pattern looks like. To do what I'm wanting to do, I'm gonna cut off these pieces, and it's just gonna be, this is just gonna be a straight line through here. And then these ones, I'll just double their length. That way this will come up to where the zipper is and it'll take that off. So that's the plan. And then it goes through how to sew it. This one, is this one lined? Yeah, so they lined this one by hand stitching it. I don't think I want to do that. I think I'm gonna sew, we'll see. We'll see where we end up with this. Because I haven't quite sewn a pouch like this before, so it may take a bit for me to put it together, but that's kind of what we're going for. So I need to figure out what size I need to make this. To start, I want my zipper, I think, to be about the width of the bag, because that's about the width of the goggles. So I think that would be probably pretty good. Yeah, I think that should be good. So get a pencil out. I think I've got my purple pencil for today. Okay. And because I want this to be kind of right on the edge, maybe a little bit further, yeah, we'll go with the millimeter side. Say if that's at 5 millimeters, I want that to be about here. So 23.5 centimeters wide. So that's how wide we're gonna go. From there, I need to figure out like the depth and whatnot of this. So if this is how the goggles are gonna sit, I'll put them this way just for ease of this. If I want to measure how wide the base of this is gonna be, I'd want it to be about maybe 5.5 millimeters. And I think I would want that on every edge. So 5.5 centimeters. This is gonna be my length. And depth. So we got those measured up. We've got a decent idea of what we're planning to do, and now to draw it out. So, let's get this way. Me and my plants are sharing the table right now, so we're just gonna have to live with it. Okay. I'm gonna go from here. So we want 9.25 inches. Perfect. And then 2.25, we're gonna have 4 sides that are 2.25. So 2 times 4 is 8, 8 times 1/4 is 9, which means we are gonna have a 9-inch side. So we'll line this all up. Go. Okay. So here is the approximate size that I'm going to need to work with. I'm going to want to add, how much seam allowance do I want on this? I have no idea. 1/4 inch? I feel like 1/2 inch is probably a good idea. I can trim it. We're going to go for 1/2 inch. So we'd want plus 1/2 here, etc. And then in the middle, so we'd go at 4.5. We'd take 1 inch and 1/8, and then 1 inch and 1/8 out to the side. And then from here, we'd go up 2.25 inches. Same thing on this side. We would draw out our flap. Okay. So I didn't leave enough space on this side, so this is just going to be like, I don't know, I could always cut on the fold, which would make this work no problem. I think I'm going to do that because I think that's going to be easiest to figure this out, which means this will all just get cut in half. But I'm going to add my 1/2 inch seam allowance on all of my edges. this was 9 1/4, so half of 9 1/4, 4 1/2, 4 1/8, or 4 1/2, 4 3/8, sorry. And I'm just gonna mark that on either side here. We got 4 1/2, 4 and, hold on. Yeah, 4 5/8, sorry. I'll do the same thing on this side. My notebook's in the way. Four 5/8, and I'll just match those up. I guess I could have gone from the bottom, hey? 1, 2, 3, 4, 3/8. Perfect. And this would just be cut on fold. Okay. So I'm gonna just tidy this up a little bit. I can erase these extra bits. Okay, so I did mention that I wanted to make something to fold over the zipper on the other side. And so let's see, our zipper is, I've been working in inches, I might as well keep using inches. The zipper's about 1 inch wide, so I think it would be good to add an extra 2 inches of material for the fold over, and then I have my seam allowance. So I'm gonna actually draw this side out in pen so that I know oopsies. So this is my top layer cut. And then I'm gonna add in 2 inches out to the side of that. So we're gonna do that in pencil. I'm gonna roll this over a bit, 2 inches. About there. Oh, that's not straight. That should be better. This is going to be my lining cut. Oh, laundry's done. Perfect. Okay. And so I was talking about interfacing. And I think I definitely want interfacing in this section, which is that lining cut area. Because I want that to be firm. I don't want that to get caught in my zipper all the time. So I think that would be best to have it being a bit longer. Longer? Is that the word? I don't know. Something. But the question is, do I put interfacing in this section too? Because I could just put an interfacing through here. And then it's not making my seams any bulkier, although that's not a bad idea. I don't know if that, you know what? I'll cut out an entire interfacing piece. Let's try it with that and we'll see how it goes. So I think this is it for my pattern, which means I need to cut this out. And then I'll get my lining, my interfacing piece cut. I'll get the stuff in the dryer and we'll go back. I have the pattern piece all cut out. Next thing I have to do is I'm going to cut out my interfacing. Let's see, will this? I think it'll like just fit. And I'm making 2 of these, so I'll cut out 2 pieces. Good. Okay. Fold her up. So we can cut on the fold. Oh, perfect. That's like exact. Okay. I'll put 1 cup down on that side, 1 cup down on this side, and we cut. Okay, perfect. We have 1 interfacing piece done. Next piece. I'll just line up on there. So I cut there. Here's it. Okay, perfect. We got 2 lining pieces all cut out. So I'm gonna put this away and then I'll be back once my fabric is dry and we'll cut out the other pieces. I got the fabric out of the laundry machine and it is ready to be cut. So I'm gonna start with this one. So we're gonna place it on the fold. So okay, that should be perfect. Get my cups placed on top. Good, and we'll cut it out. Yes, and because this is to fold that, and we cut out like these ones. Okay. There we go. Here is the outside for one of our pouches. Looks like everything lines up pretty well. Maybe not quite so well. Might be a little off here, but I think we'll be okay because I do have that 1/2 inch of whatchamacallit space. So we should be okay there, thankfully. Not exactly sure what happened there, but that's okay. Stuff happens. Okay. So we can put this fabric away for now. I love this fabric. Just love me some bees. I do think I want to make like little tabs so that, you know, you have the zipper and then there's like a little tab here. But we'll see. That might be a later addition. Okay, so last piece to cut out, I have my lining fabric. We're gonna get this set up. Oof. You can hear a bunch of thumping. That's my landlord's children running around upstairs. It's quite fun to listen to. It's a almost daily occurrence. Not quite. Well, put it there. Get this set. Okay, and now we get to cut out. Perfect. Great. We got one last piece to cut. Not. Well, should be good. No? I feel like some familiar. Perfect. That should do the trick. One up. Two, and what's that? Okay, I think that should be all of our fabric. All finished. Gotta get these last corners because I'm never able to get these with my rotary cutter because it just makes me nervous. Okay, there we go. Okay, our fabric is all cut. I'm gonna put the interfacing, I'm gonna go and fuse that onto these, and then I will put away all the cutting stuff and I will be back with a sewing machine. It's the next day. I ended up starting that fairly late last night and decided to go to bed instead of finishing. So we now have both pieces cut and pressed, and we're gonna work through this one together. I'm starting by attaching my zipper to this. So I am going to be taking my zipper and attaching the wrong side of my zipper to the right side of my lining piece, and I'm going to make sure I have it evenly spaced on either side. So we'll attach this one here, and then this will get flipped, and then we will attach that on that side so that this flap comes over top of the zipper when the case is closed. From the pattern, I ended up cutting off an inch from the extra lining piece that I had left because I don't need that wide of a flap. I think I only need, like, this will end up with my flap being about ½ an inch instead of it being a full inch long, and I think the full inch is just a bit too big. So yeah, we're gonna get started. The first thing I'm gonna do, yes, I'm gonna do the zipper first and then we'll get the sides and everything sewn up. So we're gonna have to pin this down and switch out my foot. We gotta put the zipper foot back on. Okay, so we've got the zipper on one half of the bottom layer, and now I'm going to, oh, this is where I start getting confused, but we're folding it over and we are going to be sewing this section, and to do that we'll want, how did I do this on the last one? I did the, whatchamacallit, oh, like this. We want this lining up there. That's how we want it. I did the blue one before this to try and figure out some of what I was doing. And I think I figured out most of it. Okay, I think I'm okay to do this one without pins. I should be fine. So I'm just lining it up along the edge of where I pressed the raw edge here of what was pressed down, so that once this is closed, this will be where the zipper comes, and this will be over top of that inside zipper to keep it secure so it's not touching my goggles. We gotta keep those goggles clear, you know? All right, let's try this out. Let's see how it goes. Okay, after a little bit of finagling to make sure that I could get the zipper on, we now have a closing zipper. And if we look at it from the other side, you can see when it's closed here that the zipper is fully covered by that little flap, which is exactly what I'm going for. So, let me inside this out again. Oh man. Next thing I'm going to do, this is where some of it gets a little frustrating to do, but I'm going to sew the ends of my box. For this, because I'm sewing it as a square, I need to leave that 1/2 inch seam allowance. I need to stop there. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark that. I'm gonna go and find a pen. And so we want, should be about a 1/2 inch by a 1/2 inch down, and we're just gonna give that a little dot so I know where to stop while I'm sewing. I'm gonna go ahead and do that to all 4 corners that I'm gonna be doing for this, and then I will sew it up. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and sew up all 4 of those sides now. Okay, I've got all my sides sewn up, so we now have like what actually looks like a bit of a pouch if I inside this out, which is pretty cool, right? Right? Okay. Anyways, the next thing I have to do, I'll put this back to its right side. So next thing I have to do is I am going to be cutting a little slit in here so that I can sew this part down. So I can sew that top edge there. I think you could get away without cutting the slit, but you're gonna have a really hard time trying to get this to lie flat while sewing it. So for doing that, I'm gonna take my scissors, a little snip at each of these, oh, wrong side. A little snip at each of these corners on the one that's attached to the top piece. And I am gonna make these slits bigger, but I just find that this helps keep them cleaner around the edges. And then once I do that, I'm gonna take a seam ripper. I'm gonna go in just past my sewing line here. So I don't know if you can see that, but it's like just off to the side. And then I'm just gonna meet that up with that cut edge that I just made. It's gonna look messy and that's fine. You're not gonna see it in the end. And I'm an amateur. I don't care how professional this looks, to be honest. We're going for function over fashion right now. Okay, I'll do the other ones. There, and last one. Okay, so now you can see even like right off the bat how much easier that is for me to fold it over and make it a nice flat seam. So now all I have to do is I'm going to sew this down and then we have our lining fully finished. Or, well, mostly finished. I've got one more thing I want to do to it. But we're going to line all that up. Close this. Good. So there's one side fully done. If we want, we can look from the inside and you can see that it's nice and, well, you can't really see that. Just trust me. It looks good. Good enough, at least, for our purposes. I've got a few loose strands. Don't want those. Ooh, they're gonna go to me. Ooh, okay. Okay. Last seam on the lining. And I'm going to pin this, I think, because I won't want the zipper there while I'm sewing. So if I pin it down, I can move the zipper to the other side, like so. And perfect. Okay. The lining is now completely sewn. I am going to trim these edges and I am going to trim these edges and I'm just going to round these corners a little bit. So that's my next step for this. I'm only going to trim them about halfway. I don't want them to be super, super short, but I don't want them to be quite so bulky. And this is definitely not the right, oh, you know what? I've got my rotary cutter right there. Why don't I just use that? That would make your life a lot easier. Okay. Wow. Sometimes you gotta think smarter, not harder, you know? This is one of those instances. Okay, next. And this is just so that it's not as bulky once the case is fully put together. just gonna trim off these ones. Okay. All trimmed up. So next I'm going to do the same thing on this in terms of sewing the corners together and then sewing the top piece down, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how I'm planning to attach them. I finished off my outer piece. I still have it inside out, but let me right side that out for us. All my corners poked out. Restart that. Okay, so I finished off my outside piece and this is what it's looking like. You'll find that there is a little gap here when you're sewing, which is good because you're gonna need it for the zipper spot. I don't know how that actually ended up happening, but I'm more than happy to leave it like that. So all you're gonna do now, you take this, throw it inside, make sure it's nice and snug. I'm gonna help to fit the corners in. Good, and then same thing on the other side. Get the corners all in nice and snug. Perfect. Okay, so my plan to finish this off is that I'm just gonna go around and hand sew the outer shell onto the zipper here. Originally, I was planning to do it on the machine, but I think it's just too finicky for that. So I'm gonna go around, I'm gonna hand stitch this down. I'm just gonna do like a back stitch, I think. Make it almost a little decorative. Actually, maybe I will do a decorative stitch. Ooh, that could be fun. Okay, I'll take a look and see what I can come up with. So I'm gonna sew around this edge. I'll do the ends, and then our little pouch will be all complete, and it looks like even like that, I'm very, very happy with it. I might, while I'm sewing, end up putting some like stitches into the corners by hand stitching, and just so that it stays put and it doesn't shift around too much, like the lining doesn't come out at all. But like, how cool is that? I'm pretty proud of myself, to be honest, because I mean, it looks like a bag. It, once it's sewn down, will work like a bag. And look how cute it is. Okay, so let's go hand stitch this together, and then I'll come back and I will continue to ogle over my work then. Okay, so I have finally finished sewing my edging all along the zipper so that my lining and my outer shell are pieced together, which is super exciting. I actually really like how this turned out. I love the color combination. Like the yellows and kind of like the peachy zipper I think look great together. The pouch itself works pretty well. If I were to do this again, I'd probably want to add like a pull tab on either side, just because right now I kind of have to like pinch to pull this instead of just like holding onto a tab and being able to pull my zipper open. But really not a big deal at all. The other thing is I did not end up, I think I talked about pinning this in at the corners, and I didn't end up doing that. I might in the future still, but right now it seems like it sits pretty well inside there. Like you can see that it's like pretty well set into all the corners. So I'm not too worried about that, especially because I'm not like, I'm putting goggles in here. There's nothing fancy. So I'm not really that worried about it. So yeah, that is the end of the little box case goggle holder. I ended up I'm like mostly finished the blue one, but I figured this was a good enough example for you guys. I'll eventually finish that one, but this is the one for me, and that one's for my partner, and he can wait. He can finish it himself if he wants to. No, I'll finish it eventually, but for now, this one's all finished, which is super exciting. Okay, sorry, distracted. Whew. Anyways, that's it for today's video. So thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching me go through the process of figuring out how to create a little box goggle case, pencil case, whatever you'd want to use it for. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next week for another video.